It's an absolute cracker of a spring morning. Wall-to-wall sunshine, blue sky, signs of spring all around us, and we're only just in the start of April. Well, I'm going to celebrate this newfound turn of the season by visiting one of my favourite areas in the Western Highlands. So why don't you join me? I'm on the big brae that leads out of Ullapool and heads north, drops down to Achnahaird and then goes inland a wee bit round by Inverpolly, and that's where I'm heading today. one of the hills of that great that's kind of long litany of mountains. It starts at bit more Coyach, and then you've got Colmord, Colbeg, Stackpolly, Sullivan, Canis, Cúneg, Benmorassin, Conneval, and all the way north. It's just a fantastic stretch of idiosyncratic hills, each one quite different from the rest. You couldn't describe it as a mountain range really. They're just a whole lot of very individualistic hills, and I'm going to climb one of them today. It's called Colbeg. Colbeg is 769 metres and it's a corbin. The name means small back, and its neighbours Coolmore, the big back. You can climb the hill by its steep and rocky western side, but I chose a longer but probably easier route from the A835 Ullapool Road. Now this involves a bit of a long trog over wet and tussocky ground, with a fairly steep ascent of the hill's first top, Moel Sherrick. This top, the final ascent looks fairly easy, but as you cross the slabby summit of Moel Sherrick, you realise there's a bit of a drop down to the Bealach that contains Lochan Wynia, the Green Lochan, and then another big climb to the summit. However, the views north to the crags of Coolmore and Sullivan, and south to the peaks of Cogiach make it all worthwhile. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. As you approach the summit, the wonders of Inverpolly are plain to see. This is a loch-splattered landscape, and it's one of the wildest in Scotland, encroaching on the indented coastline of Wester Ross.
That's stacked Polly down below. It looks tiny, doesn't it? And those are the peaks of Cogiach. And this is Inverpolly. And that wonderful icon of Assynt, Sullivan.
I had every intention of getting back to the van, parking up and cooking a nice meal tonight, which I hope to share with you. But to be honest, once I got back to the van, I was so puggled. I was so exhausted. All I could do was have a quick sandwich and a bottle of beer, and I'm just about ready for bed now. Gosh, that walk up the hill today really took it out of me. And I suppose it's the first hill I've been up this year, and you know, I've not had a lot of hard exercise over this past wet and windy winter, so I guess I'm just not very fit. So I need to be a few more hills, get myself fit again, and get back into the way of it. But it was a great day. There's just such a beautiful area here, and I'm just going to go and hit the sack now, and we'll maybe see you in the morning. Thanks. Good morning. The first cup of coffee of the day makes such a difference, and it's amazing what a good night's sleep can do to you. Oh my goodness, was I tired last night. I thought Coolbeck would be a kind of fairly straightforward hill to climb, fairly easy to climb it and film it in half a day or so, and it should have been. But as I mentioned last night, I'm not terribly fit at the moment. You know, it's the first sort of big hill of the year for me, and I had a couple of years where I couldn't do any hill walking because of this big toe problem I had, this hallux rigidus issue. Then when I got that operated on, it was a good year before I really started getting a bit of hiking done again, and so I really feel the lack of fitness, and I really didn't give myself enough time yesterday to not just to walk up this hill and back down, but to film it as well. And when you're filming a walk like that, it almost doubles the time. You know, it almost doubles the distance, because you got to set the camera up, jog back a wee bit, walk into frame, walk through, and so on and so forth. So I'm sorry that I didn't get a lot more footage of the walk yesterday. I promise I'll do better next time as I get fitter. But as I said, a good night's sleep makes all the difference. Unfortunately, I've wakened up this morning to a pretty miserable morning. It's one of those West Coast mornings where it's just steady drizzle, but it could be a lot worse, and I'm just going to kind of dilly-dally about today a wee bit, just not do an awful lot, I don't think. I'm not sure the legs will take another big hill walk. But one or two things I just wanted to talk to you about. In my last video, I reviewed a coffee machine, which was great, and you know, I still use it. But it drew a lot of criticism from a number of viewers who said, we don't really want you to review things like bikes or coffee machines or things like that. I
I think it's fair to say now that in the YouTube world, the PR companies of a lot of manufacturers, particularly manufacturers from overseas, China and the Far East, are sending YouTubers gear to try out and report on. And I suppose it's a cheap way of getting publicity. There's a lot of YouTube channels out there actually getting bigger viewing figures than the television companies. I mean, you think what the TV companies charge for advertising, then it's understandable that a lot of these companies want to harness the creative ability and the audience of a lot of YouTube channels. So anyway, that's there was some criticism of the fact that I was doing that, and I decided to ask you, the viewers, what your views were. So I put something on the community part of the channel, which is still there, and you can see it. And I put a bit of a poll asking whether I should continue testing products, and 3/4 of you said yes, please, because they can be useful. Please do that. So I've decided to continue, but with one or two criteria. I really only want to review products that are applicable to this channel, and that's really using a camper van to access hills and places where I can ride my bike, my e-bike. So I will continue to review the odd e-bike. I'll continue to review things that are pertinent to camper van life. But other than that, I don't really want to get too involved in product testing. I get lots of requests to try out all sorts of things, and most of them I turn down. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll continue to review some of these products, but only if they're relevant to what the channel is all about. So I hope that'll satisfy the critics, and I hope the rest of you get something from the various reviews. So that's it for this video. I'm sorry it was a kind of curtailed walk, but I hope that little walk up Coolbeck gives you a taste for this wonderful part of the west coast of Scotland, these lovely hills north of Ullapool. It really is God's own country. There are a number of estates in this area: Inverpolly, Drumrooney, Assynt, and so on. And I remember a number of years ago, a friend of mine wrote the immortal words, "In the beginning, God made Assynt." And I fully agree with that. It's just such a wonderful area. So if you get the opportunity, come and have a look yourself. There are a number of overnight stopping places. Interesting, just driving up here yesterday, I noticed a couple of new airs that had been open. So later on in the year we'll maybe get something done on those new airs as well. But for the moment, if this kind of curtailed video has been helpful to you, then please think about subscribing to the channel. It really helps the channel grow, and ring that, click that little bell thing down below, and we'll get in touch with you every time there's a new video published. So it'll be good to have you on board. I'm really keen to kind of create a camper van hill walking cycling community here in the channel, and that's why I've started putting quite a lot of stuff on the community pages of the channel too. So let's get together, let's travel together, let's enjoy Scotland together, and until the next time, take care out there.